Yes, peace in our land, peace in our nation. On Armed Forces Radio 107.7, the authentic voice of the Nigerian military, right here at the hills of Mogadishu Cantonment. This is the time. If you've been following us on this program, you know that by 5 p.m. every Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturday, we kickstarted this program as part of the ongoing effort by the Defense Headquarters to combat insecurity in Nigeria, whereby bringing up this program to sensitize our esteemed listeners on various dimensions of threat and insecurity by bringing this program on Armed Forces Radio 107.7, the authentic voice of the Nigerian military. You can tune on to this program. My name is Sahid Oladimeji. I will be your anchor for this program, and I'm not alone in the studio. I have with me Dr. Taufik Mihdad. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's nice to be here, and it's a pleasure having me on this platform to discuss the all-important issue concerning our national security. Let me start by thanking the Chief of Defense Staff for having me on this platform to educate and enlighten the general public on the importance of security, particularly when it comes to children upbringing. And I do say in the previous episodes that we've had here on this radio station that the family setup is part and parcel of our national security apparatus. And it's important for us to note that how the family looks like is a reflection of how the society is going to look like. If we have a good family, the children from good families will make good community, they make good society, and they make good nation. If we have bad families, dysfunctional families will produce bad children. Those bad children will aggregate and pull together in the community, in the society, and they make bad nations. So this is important. It is important for us to continue to interrogate and investigate the issue of the family and the nexus between the family and national security, because there is a connection between what we do in our various family and what happens as a nation. Now let me quickly mention here that did you know that when you marry a good husband or when you marry a good wife, what you're doing is you are contributing from that point onset and onward. You are contributing your own quota to national growth and security. And some people have said that I don't need to get married, I just want to have children. What I call you is you are a social criminal, because you want to have children without getting married. It means that your children will become the cannon fodder, the resource for bandits. They become the resource for Boko Haram. They become the resource for kidnappers. They become the resource for national unrest. Whenever there is going to be any protest, you discover that those children from good families, when they go on protest, they go on protest with values. They don't go on protest that will be destructive. They don't burn down properties, because these children have been raised to appreciate the value of life. Now your children, whom you have failed to raise the right way, your children you have failed to train the right way, they're going to grow up and become part and parcel of the problem our armed forces have to deal with. Why? Because you have failed as a parent, because you chose to get children out of wedlock. Now if you are a female and you feel I don't need a man to control me, I want to be independent, I don't want any man to, and all this stuff. Now what you're saying invariably is that you don't want to get good children, you don't want to give birth to give good children for our society. And with due respect to those who believe in single parenting, with due respect, but the bottom line is this: if you have a child out of wedlock, whom would you tell the child his father was? What are you going to say to the child? Your father was a monkey, or a goat, or a spirit impregnated you? Come on, sister. This is not correct. It's not right here. So the best way is to have a licit marriage, to have good children for our national security apparatus. And let me tell you this for clarity. Without good family, there won't be good children. Without good children, our armed forces have a lot of security challenge to deal with. You know why? Because when we are able to destroy a particular section of Boko Haram and bandits and kidnappers, you are already creating the resource base for this element to tap from. Come on, man. They're not going to have their resource from good children, because good children won't listen to them. They're not going to have their resource from pious children who have grown with family values, who understand the value of life. You can't tell a child who understand the value of life to go bomb people. Nah. No way. The child won't listen to you. You know why? Because the child feels like, I understand the value of life. I can't just do this, man. I can't just do this. You can't push me to this. That child won't listen to you. Now, this is where it is important. And that is why I'm appreciating the Chief of Defense Staff for giving us this platform. Now, if you say, for example, I have taken good care of my own children. My children are not bad children. Now, them sabi anything they like, make them do. Okay, fine, no problem. Did you know that those other parents whom we allow to nurse and to create bad children, they will come back and inflict their harm and their dangers on your own children? That's the implication here. It is not enough for you to say, I have good children, my children they don't make problems, they don't cause troubles in the society. It is not enough. What is enough is that your children, my children, should build good society, good community. And let us start this way. Now, addressing the issue of security or national security with respect to growth and development of good families, we want to start with parenting. Parenting is good, but parenting is good when you do that through licit marriage. You know, a marriage is good when you make it licit, because marriage comes before you can talk about being a parent. You must be married. Now, without good marriage, parenting becomes a big challenge. You won't be able to give good quality parenting to your children. To get good marriage, you must have a combination of two factors. Number one, you must have the deen. Deen here, I mean, you must have righteous living. You know, you must live your life based on righteousness. Number two, you must have good character. In other words, righteous living, in other words, godliness and good character put together will make the husband and wife to enjoy themselves in a good marriage. This combination will bring quality parenting, and of course, quality parenting will bring good children to our society. Now, let us look at what is parenting. From leadership perspective, I'm going to look at parenting from this. Parenting is all about influencing your children towards doing what you want them to do. The power of influence is brought to bear here. Your ability to influence your children towards doing what you want them to do is a very important aspect of parenting. When you are able to influence your children in a manner that makes them to be true reflection of your identity, or even higher, having higher quality than yourselves, then we say you are a successful parent. And that is the implication here. It is a smart combination of the core values of marriage. Talking about care, talking about love, talking about kindness, talking about firmness, guidance, and bringing the authority as a parent to bear. For example, you are kind to your child. It doesn't mean you should compromise discipline. The child knows you are very kind as a father. The child knows you are very kind as a mother. Now, combining these two, you can't go out anything after XYZ time. It shows you are a good parent. Or you can't do this. When you allow the children in the name of, I'm being kind to my children are my best friend, they can do anything, I know they care, then you're compromising your care, you're compromising discipline because of your care. Now, what is important, therefore, is for you to be good parent, you must combine love, you must combine care, you must combine kindness with firmness, guidance, and authority. This is very critical when it comes to parenting. It also implies to be emotionally intelligent enough to understand why children behave in certain ways. You must be able to understand the behavioral pattern of children. Why do they behave that way? So that you can be ahead of them, because you are the parent. You are able to understand and decipher why children behave that way. Therefore, you must take them from where they are to where they are supposed to be. This is your role as a parent. Now, we have some problems in our society today, and I'd like to mention this very quickly. Part of the problems is when you have wrong selection of mates, or you don't even care about who's going to be my wife, who's going to be my husband. You just want anyhow. I'm just going to get married anyhow. Excuse me? Let us place marriage side by side with building a house. If you want to build a good house, you must make a good foundation. Making a good foundation here means make certain your marriage is built on a foundation of faith and righteousness for it to last. But when you don't care about who's your husband or who's your wife, then that you have built your marriage on a precipice that is bound to collapse. So when it collapses, too bad, brother, too bad, because that will mean that marriage is not going to be productive. Now, when you have wrong selection of mates, it is a challenge to parenting, because over time, both the husband and the wife now will discover that they have not made the right choice. Now, when parents have divergent worldview, each parent facing different direction in life, when parents face different directions in life, they don't have a coherent approach to children upbringing, then this is a challenge to parenting. Work family conflict. When the husband and the wife have to attend to work and nobody is there to care for the children, especially in their formative years, this brings a lot of challenge to parenting. What about the time factor? You don't have enough time to spend with your children on account of the fact that you have to attend to other things. At the time the children need you, then you are not there. This is a problem to parenting. Lack of quality time with the children is also a challenge. When you don't spend quality time with your children, it means that these children will pick their values from somewhere else, not from you, who is the father or the mother, as it were. And this is a problem to parenting. Furthermore, negative relationship between husband and wife can be a challenge to parenting. When husband and wife are not coherent, and this takes me to the fact that we have started the discussion in this radio station on discords in marriages, marital discourse, and the implication to national security. And inshallah, this Friday we're going to continue with that at 3 o'clock. Inshallah, may Allah make it easy for us. So what I'm talking about is negative relationship between husband and wife is a problem to parenting. Furthermore, unrestrained freedom of action to children is a problem. Yes, you want the children to be free, but nobody gives freedom unrestrained to anybody, especially your children. Yes, freedom is good, but you only give freedom to those who can handle responsibility. Your children should still be under your watchful eyes. So, freedom to do whatever they want to do? No. They have to do what you want them to do at their formative years. In their formative years, it is important for us as parents to keep an eye on them. What about negative peer group influence? Negative peer group influence could be a problem to parenting, because you know that you have been training your children with right values. Let it not be that someone out there who does not care about life, who does not have value for family, is the one that will indoctrinate your children with wrong ideology. It's important here. It's important because get to know who are the friends of your children. Get to know whom your children are mixing up with. Get to know who your children are relating with at every point in time. Who are the friends at school? Who are the teachers? Who are the friends on the street? Who are the friends in the masjid? Whom do your children move with? You must know. And that takes me to the agents of socialization. I need to discuss this very quickly. Number one, as I've mentioned, is the home. And when I say the home, I mean the family. To socialize, the children must pick up their values from your home. Your children must pick up their values from the family. Your children must understand what life is from you based on your own worldview and your perspective of life. Now, when you are a father, now, for crying out loud, I don't know, it's embarrassing. You give birth to children and you say the children should take care of themselves. Come on, brother. I told you you are a social criminal because you don't care about how your children feed. You don't care about their shelter. You give birth to children, you say, make when they go Alamajiri. Come on, brother, you give birth to that child. You give birth to that child. You took the child to a place you don't even know. And you don't care to look back at the value, at how the growth of the child has been mentally, physically, and emotionally, even spiritually. And you see on the street and the traffic, children who understand the only thing they know from morning till evening is how to eat food, with bowl in their hand. And the question you ask is, where are the parents of these children? The parents are there. They are irresponsible parents, right? So the home, when the home is not producing quality parenting, as it were, then it becomes a problem to national security. Because, these children that are going about with bowls in their hands to eat food, if they get a tip from a kidnapper, for example, they become the instrument at the hands of kidnappers, right? If they get a tip from bandits, they become an instrument in the hands of the bandits. So I say that we must take care of who and how our children feed, how our children will shelter, and how our children go to school. And someone said, you don't have to go to school, just remain at home. Excuse me. Talabul ilmi farido. The Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that to seek for knowledge is an obligatory act. You must seek for knowledge. You got no excuse. And it is your duty as a father to educate your children yourself, or you send the children to school to be educated. When the home is not right, then the society is going to have a problem. And this is the challenge we're having today. Number two, the school is another agent of socialization. Training the children the right way. Talking about the primary education. Talking about the secondary education. And talking about the tertiary education. You must learn with good character. You must produce children who have graduated, having certified the character and learning process. Now the child is good in character and learning. In other words, our institution should be a place where our children get the right values. They must get it right at schools. If they don't get it right at school, so I ask the question, so where are you going to get it right? Where are they going to get it right? Now it's a national security problem when the schools are not producing children with good character. When the schools are not producing children with conscience. When the schools are not producing children with godliness, it is a problem, because those children can become instruments at the hands of anybody. And with that, we got a lot of challenges to deal with. We got a lot of challenges to deal with. I pray that Allah will have mercy on us. And that makes me I want to reiterate this appeal to all the owners of schools and public institutions, private institutions, whether at the primary level, or the secondary level, or the tertiary level. We must take the training of our children very importantly. Now, why I'm saying this is this. If the school is an accomplice towards manipulation of results, WAEC result, for example, you have special center, and you ask the children to pay some XYZ amount of money so that all the children will be exposed to what you call the mercenaries or expo or what have you, to be able to cut corners in passing the examination at all costs, then that school is a problem to national security, because now you want the children to have good mark, but you are making them to lose their conscience. Now they know how to manipulate from secondary school age. Yes, the child has passed the WAEC exam or GC exam or the NECO exam, but the child lost the character from that point in time. Subhanallah. This is not right. So if your school is not producing children with God consciousness, those children will go into the larger society and they become a problem. Yahoo boys or Yahoo girls are children. Yes, they went to school, yes. But what did they miss out? They miss out on the quality of character. And lastly, on the tertiary institution, talking about the universities the colleges of education or what have you. Hey, if we don't close ranks to train children who will pass in learning and character, then it's a problem to national security. Because these children, they don't get a hold. All they want is just to have the certificate. Yes, they got a certificate. Do they have the character to back it up? It's a problem to national security. The last one is the masjid. I'm a detour for the mosque and the churches, as it were. Where the mosque, to be specific now, the mosque is not building the character of the youth, it is a problem. And I'm making this appeal to all our imams. To all the imams. Now look, the mosque is not just a place for you to pray and go. No. The mosque is a hub of so many activities. The mosque is a cynosure for so many activities where they're going to pray and learn character. And that is why I subscribe to the idea of combining learning the Quran Islamia school with Adab al-Islam. When the learning of the Quran is bereft of Islamic etiquette, Islamic values, behavioral pattern, how to relate with others, how to relate with their parents, how to relate with elders, then that Islamic school, Islamia school, is not producive, is not being productive to national growth. And I say this because when the children concentrate on memorizing the Quran, the video that was making the rounds, a young man who memorized the Quran and the guy smokes weed, cannabis. The Quran is in the head, but the Quran is not in the character. Excuse me. So what kind of a mosque is this? Where people just come in, pray and go, and you don't talk to their minds? Please, I want to appeal to all the imams. Let your masajid be the hub of not only to pray, but also to develop and grow their character. Let the masajid, the mosque system, the masjid system be such a system that will grow the minds of our youth. And when you do your bit as an imam in talking to arm the minds of the children, let me tell you this. Did you know that the subconscious controls more than 80% of human psychological development? When you're able to grow the subconscious mind towards the right direction, then the society is going to be at peace. Because those children will not understand that, look, we got a lot of things to deal with here. And by themselves, they begin to handle the issue of national security without anybody. They don't need any supervision because they know the right thing to do from the masjid system. So I want to make an appeal. Let our masajid, let our Islamia school go beyond the letters of the Quran, go beyond the letters of the Hadith. Let them also learn the spirit of the Quran and the spirit of the Hadith. The Sahaba al-Kiram, they used to be proud that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught them al-ilma wa deen. It taught them knowledge and the deen itself. It taught them both the deen and the knowledge of the deen. So in other words, the Sahaba didn't just memorize the Quran, and they won't move an inch until they're able to comprehend the portions they memorized. Now we have children today who parrot the Quran, but they don't have the character of the Quran in their head. This is unbecoming of the masajid system. So I want to appeal and advocate to making our masajid to be children-friendly mosque. Let the mosque be children-friendly mosque, and let it be a mosque that will accommodate and tolerate the delinquencies of our children. In your presence, let them make the mistake, and then you can correct them. By the time you keep pushing the children to the back seat, you go to the back. We don't want to see in the front row. Excuse me. Where do you have this in the Sunnah? Where do you have this in the Sunnah? Let the mosque system be a children-friendly mosque system. Also, let the mosque be or bring up youth enlightenment programs. Programs that will empower the youth, grow their mentality, develop their spirit, and develop their character. When we're able to do this, then we have solved a lot of problem to national security. And finally, before you talk about children upbringing, I want to ask you this question. Dear parents, dear listeners far and near, are you settled before you want to settle your children? Are you settled as a father? Are you settled as a mother? Before you talk about settling children, are you settled in terms of your character? Do you have the decency, the integrity as a father? Would you want your children to copy your own behavioral pattern? Would you want your children to behave like you? Right? You smoke Igbo, you drink alcohol, you don't go to masjid to pray, you are insultive, you are bereft of good character. Would you want your child to be that way? So if no, then you need to settle yourself before you can settle your children. Number two, are you responsible before you begin to take responsibility? I mentioned a short while ago about those parents who will push their children in the name of Al-Majri school into the street. I mean, no thanks to you. I call you social criminal. And I'm not making apologies today. Yeah, I'm not making apologies. You are a social criminal. You give birth to the children. Hey, before you do the do, don't you think about the responsibility? Before you do the cohabitation with your wife, did you think about what may come out of it? Are you prepared for it? Are you ready to take responsibility over your children? This is important here. Now, have you laid your bed before you ask your children to come and lie on it? No. No preparation, nothing. This is not a right pattern. I ask Allah in His mercy to make it easy for us. And finally, you must be ready physically as a parent. You must be ready mentally, you must be ready emotionally, you must be ready financially, and of course you must be ready spiritually before inviting children to life. If you are not ready, and I'm saying this for the umpteenth time, making an appeal, a passionate appeal to all parents, if you are not ready, please don't bring children to life. You just want to enjoy yourself. Hey, going with that enjoyment of that sexual gratification, your sensualistic proclivity, beyond that, there is a responsibility, and that you could have a baby. Are you ready for the baby before you have the baby to come? So this is my appeal here today. And I ask Allah in His mercy to bless you with a better understanding of this message today. It is appreciated. I want to use this medium to thank particularly the Chief of Defense Staff for giving us this platform. And I want to thank the Armed Forces Radio for giving us this platform. I pray Allah in His mercy to bless our nation. And on a final note, when you give birth to right children, you have contributed your own quota to our collective patrimony and development of our national security apparatus. I ask Allah to bless you, bless your home, bless your family, and may Allah bless our country, Nigeria. I remain yours sincerely, Dr. Gidado Tawfiq Mekdad. Thank you for listening. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
All right, you've heard it from Dr. Tawfiq Mekdad, who has been eulogizing us on